birth was a complete natural birth, no epidural. Let's talk about it, sis. Okay. Okay. No epidural, completely natural, and I almost had her in my car. Hi guys, it's me and baby K here on Mommy and Me Journey. So if you guys are new to our channel, hi. I think she said hey to y'all. But yeah, if you're new to our channel, welcome. Today we are going to do the birthing video, basically giving you guys a brief synopsis on her birthing story. She loves to look at me, so I gotta like turn her. Say hi to the camera, mommy. Look. Look, say hi. If needed, we are a pro breastfeeding channel, and so if she decides to act up a little bit, then bear with me. I will be breastfeeding her, so if that happens, I might just cut off a little bit, but you know, pro breastfeeding, yay. Not to say that if you don't breastfeed, this is whatever, like, okay, am I one of those people? But like, pro breastfeeding, yay. God gave us the boobies to give milk, and so I thank God that makes us to give her milk, and so I do that. And so I might have to stop to go ahead and breastfeed her. I might cover her. I think I have a cover over here, and I'll just continue with the video just in case you guys see her underneath a blanket. That's what I'm doing, breastfeeding. But right now she's chilling. She's relaxing, aren't you? She really, maybe it's the plant. I don't know what it is, but she is really giving, well, I have a whole collage of pictures right here, so maybe that's what she's looking at. I don't know. But yeah, so today we're going to get into my birth story with her. I do have also a 6-year-old son, so therefore I will also be talking about his birth story soon enough in this time frame of me having this channel. But for the time being, and being that she is just freshly born, I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys the birth story, baby Kate's birth story, while I can make sure I get out all the hot and juicy details. So if you're looking for a story that is informative but still fun and educational, then this story is for you. I'm going to try to give you guys as much details as well as parenting and birthing educational advice and experiences throughout this video, because I know that a lot of mommies, like when I was pregnant, I was looking up videos regarding birthing stories and you know, laboring vlogs and stuff like that. And so I feel like a lot of those times they did good jobs with giving me like the background of what they're doing, but like the details, I didn't get that much out of it. It's more so for entertainment. So I want to make sure that I'm actually giving you guys some educational details so that it would actually help you, not just visually, but you know, mentally and verbally and physically with the birthing process, as well as your birth story with your new or soon to come child. And for those that are pregnant, congratulations. Thank you for coming to this channel. If that has intrigued you, please stay. Hey, yeah, she wants you to stay, y'all. Please stay. It gives us a big thumb up. So yeah, let's get into her story. So first and foremost, baby Kate was born on May 19th, a Friday. And so she actually was basically 41 weeks. And I had scheduled, well, my midwives and my doctor scheduled me for a, to get induced. I don't know if it's induction. Y'all, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but sis. I was scheduled to be induced on Sunday, that Sunday. And because they didn't want me to go into 42 weeks or past 41 weeks of being pregnant. And so, or carrying her. And so they scheduled me to be induced that Sunday coming up, which would have been the 19th, 2021, which would have been the 21st of May. I did not want to get induced because I already was induced with my son prior. It was a whole process, which is why I'm telling y'all, we're gonna get into that story. Okay, this birth was a complete natural birth, no epidural. Let's talk about it, sis. Okay. Okay. No epidural, completely natural, and I almost had her in my car. It was all me, I'll be honest, but yeah, this story is real. So let's get into it. Yeah, so let's start from May 18th. So May 18th, I go to my appointment. They say, hey, you're basically pushing 41 weeks. We need to go ahead and do something to get the baby, you know, active. Have you been doing certain things? So let's talk about certain things. They say you can, you know, exercise to help get you into labor. Having sex will help you get into labor. Stimulating your nipples also will help you go into labor. Hot baths and hot showers can also help you go into labor. Of course, walking. Everybody knows walking. Eating hot foods is a myth, but some girls will say that it works, as well as castor oil is a myth, and rose hip tea also is a myth, but they say, a lot of people say they had great success with doing castor oil, rose hips, and something else I just said that was a myth. But those things do work for some people, but not for all people. And so sometimes you try all three of them at once, one at a time. Oh, vitamin C sometimes also can help, but that's a whole other thing. I would not suggest vitamin C at all. If you want to do something like that, rose hips, castor oils, walking. Oh, the ball, the sumo ball, jumping on the sumo ball, lining up your heels for your exercise, and doing certain yoga positions and stretching positions can also help you. Like that I would say can help. So that goes on with the walking. But what is happening? So the date for me to be induced was May 21st. Okay. So on May 18th, I go to my midwife because I had to go to get checked every week. At this point, I was going every week to my doctor and every week to my specialist, because I had a specialist. I had not only had my pre-labor, which is the regular OB visit, I also went to a specialist because of my past history with having miscarriages and stillbirths, which we will get into on this channel. So if you also have gone through anything like that regarding miscarriages and stillbirths, just know I will be doing a whole video on that and going into all the details on, you know, what a stillbirth is, the difference between a stillbirth and a miscarriage, and then my stories regarding both of those experiences. And just know it is okay. I know during the time of you going through those situations, you don't really want to hear anybody tell you that it'll be okay, or you don't really want to hear like the cliche, everything happens for a reason. But in all reality, everything happens for a reason, and timing is of the essence. And so if it's the right time, it will be. What will be, will be. And I had to understand that and swallow that hard pill, because it is hurtful and it's hard to understand that and go through either of those situations. But like I stated before, my baby here, I did have a miscarriage, and the same thing with my son. I had a stillbirth before him. And so yeah, just know that you can give birth after having stillbirths. You can give birth after and get pregnant after having miscarriages, or both. You can. So don't look at a situation as a bad thing. I know it's hard to say, but don't look at it as a bad thing. Just take it for what it is, heal, and get to know yourself more, and, you know, just take it and have a positive aspect, as positive an aspect as you can on situation, because positive things will come. And I'm speaking from experience, because now you see baby K is here. And so I had to do a whole wardrobe change. Y'all want to see her little fit? Look at her little nightie and her little feet. You see her little feet? So yeah, we had to do a little impromptu 1-2, 1-2. So yeah, guys. With that being said, like I was saying, And I'll do my birthday video for my son, and I also go into those kind of videos too. So yeah, May 18th comes. They're like, oh yeah, you are way past 40 weeks. What's going on? I'm like, yeah, she's just sitting in the oven. The bun is just getting nice and toasty in there. And she was like, well, we're gonna give her an eviction date, which will be that Sunday. Like, you're gonna get induced on Sunday. She actually wanted me to stay that Thursday. And I was like, no, I gotta go home. I gotta prepare, get myself together, get my baby together, get my mind together, get the family together, because like, yeah. But she was like, okay, so hold on. Okay, so my midwife was like, okay, well, have you ever heard of, well, no, actually, I lied. When I went to that appointment, I had already had it on my mind, like my plan. So I planned this baby. My other baby too, I planned it too. Having the stillbirths and the miscarriage just gave us opportunity to plan. Because those, of course, were not planned. Well, this last recent miscarriage was because we were actually trying, but my first one wasn't. And or the stillbirth. My first son, the pregnancy before him was not planned. And so he was planned due to her, and she was planned because we were already actively trying before she got conceived with the previous pregnancy. That ended up having a miscarriage, and that's the whole story, so I'll get to that in another video. So yeah, May 18th comes, and I had my plan. I'm like, listen, I know she's good and ready. I wanted to make sure I made it to 40 weeks, and I'm like, okay, it's been past 40 weeks, and so I wanted to see if I could get my membrane swept. So the day before, which was that Wednesday, I went to the appointment with my our actual OB, and I asked him if he did that, and he was like, no, he doesn't do those kind of things. And so if the baby does not come, from me doing ways like castor oil, well, that's not what he said. He said, the regular, just stimulating the nipples, stuff like that. Girl, having sex, exercising, etc., etc. Okay, she's gonna pull this out on the camera. Hold on. So yeah, got through breastfeeding. So yeah, basically the doctor was like, if you don't give birth with the natural ways, like exercising, walking, etc., etc. Having sex, stimulating your nipples, taking a hot bath, all that kind of stuff, then, we are going to induce you. We have no choice to induce you. I didn't want to get induced because of my previous birth with my son, and it wasn't a bad pregnancy birth, I would say, but it was a whole lot of, which I will get into a whole separate video on his birth. But basically, when you get induced, it's a process. I was in the hospital for basically almost 3 days. I went in on the 23rd for him, and I came out on the 20th. Well, I gave birth to him on the 25th. So I was in labor over 48 hours. Like, it was crazy. And so I just didn't want to go through that whole process with her. And so I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to get induced. I'm gonna do everything I can not to get induced. And we'll try our best not to have to go through that route unless I actually really have to. Plus, I knew if I would have went in to get induced, by the time I gave birth to her, I would not have been able to do it completely natural, because after a while they try to they don't force you. I can't say force you, but after a while of you giving birth and going through the process in the hospital, I feel like because you're in the hospital, you get bored, you get tired of just being in there, you're ready to go, like you want the process to speed up. So when they ask you, do you want something to help speed on your pregnancy, speed along your contractions and the labor, you're going to say yes. 9 times out of 10, you're going to say yes. And what they do to speed it up is called Pitocin. And baby, if you didn't know, now you know. Pitocin is it's basically like a synthetic version of pig semen, which helps stimulate your pregnancy. It's like a higher dosage of semen. Like that's why when you are pregnant and you're getting closer to your due date, your doctor will say go have sex, because your spouse releases semen, which will cause you to contract, which will cause you to dilate, which will cause you to go into labor. Now, the pitocin is something totally different. That is something different, okay? And so I know myself. If they would have got me to that point, I would have said the epidural. Prick me in the back of my head for all I care. Like, it gets real. And so I didn't want to go through that, and I wanted to have a completely natural birth because of my first daughter. I had a natural birth, and I would go into the stillbirth videos, and I would go into the miscarriage videos. I promise you I would go into all those details in another video. And so I wanted to make sure that I went through this process completely natural. So on that Thursday, the 18th, I talked to the midnight nurse, and I'm like, yeah, no, the doctor did not share my membrane, but I want to know if you guys are able to do that because, you know, she's past due. I don't want for her to go too long, and I don't want to get induced. They said, sure, fine, whatever. She ended up stripping my membrane. Now, my friend got her membrane swept, and literally within 2 hours, she was back at the hospital about to give birth. Me, it wasn't like that. So that Thursday night, I ended up getting my membrane sweep, I think, at 4 p.m. It was 4 p.m., somewhere around like 4 o'clock. I would say 3:30, 4 o'clock on the 18th. And I went back home. I went to, you know, I just did my regular day. I ended up feeling like contractions, I would say, around 10, 11, I started feeling like some kind of contractions, like really minor contractions, nothing too major, nothing too whatever. And I started feeling down there, start to contract and start to open up a little bit. Yeah, because that day, the 18th, they were like, no, you're not dilating at all, like at all. Maybe 1 or 2, like that's nothing when you're trying to, like, you know. And so, okay, bam. Then on Friday, the same day I ended up giving birth, I had an appointment, which was the next day. So the next day I go give birth, I go to my appointment, which was at 1 o'clock or 1:30, 1 o'clock. And I go to my appointment and I'm like, okay, no, let me not skip. So after Thursday, membrane was swept. I started feeling a little bit minor contractions, whatever. Nothing too major, nothing like crazy. Then on Friday morning at like 5 o'clock, I started feeling like real ones. Like, okay, this is feeling a little different. Like the night before was just a little small, whatever. And then on that Friday.
Tell them about the most miserable car ride. I hate you.
I'm trying to get there. Do you want to be a part of the video?
No, I don't.
I want to get there.
Driving in the car
when I get to that point, could you be my guest when I get to that point? I didn't even get there yet. Like.
Oh yeah, they stop for food.
Okay. Okay, so like I said, that Thursday happened. Okay, that started feeling good. I was feeling a little minor, nothing major. That Friday at 5 a.m. between, like, I would say 3 to 5. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me say this, because I don't want to get all over the place. And when you're telling stories, it can happen. Okay, so first off, let's start this. Thursday, I was already feeling like I was having contractions. I felt like I was having contractions, and I felt like I was dilating, and I felt like my cervix down there was opening. Let me say that. So when I went to my appointment, I told my midwife, I told my nurse that that's what I was feeling, and then I asked them because the day of, actually, I went to my OB, and then I went to the same appointment with my specialist the same day, just afterwards, to go get an ultrasound, that kind of stuff. And this time I had to go to the hospital for ultrasound because my OB told me to go directly to the hospital, which I've done already throughout the whole time I've been pregnant. I did it twice. This is my second time doing that. And so when I got to the hospital, my midwife was also there. So I'll make sure I say that. So when I say I was having these feelings and all that kind of stuff. This was prior to my membrane being sweet. I told her about it. We talked about it. She checked to see I was dilating. I was dilated like 1 or 2, but like that's nothing. There you go. So then after we do the sweep and the time goes on Thursday, basically at between I would say 11 to 3, my contractions in my cervix, everything started to really feel like it was opening. I was starting to start the process of going into labor. Bomb. At 5 a.m., because from time of 11 to 3 to 3 to 5, I was trying to make sure, 11 to 3, I was trying to make sure I was actually feeling like contractions, because your pelvic area and your uterus walls and all that kind of stuff will contract and it will start to open because your body's preparing. But I wasn't sure if I was having Braxton's Hicks or like the real deal. And so after consecutively going through this off and on contracting period, I said, okay, at 3 a.m. I'm having them. Let me start to really track it. So at 3 a.m. I got up to use the restroom and I started to track my contractions to see how far apart they were. And like at first, I didn't do my first burst. I wasn't really sure, and I saw videos talk about it, so I wasn't really sure if I was doing it the right way, but I was doing it. So basically, how you do it, how you track your contractions is you have a contraction. Some people track how long it lasts. I really wasn't tracking how long it lasts. I was trying to just make sure that I was having them consecutively, make sure I wasn't going crazy. Like, am I really giving birth right now? Girl, you're really giving birth right now. You're really going into labor, I should say. And so, yeah. So every 10, at first it was like every 15 to 20 minutes. And then once it got to like every 10 to 12 to 8 to 9 minutes, I was tracking it. So the way that I was doing it was, once I had it, as soon as it ended, I hit my timer so you can track and see the time frame between one to the next. And that's how I was doing it. I was not also doing a timer to see how long the contraction was lasting. I was just more so trying to track the time frame of how fast they were coming. And so from 3 to 4 a.m., 5 a.m., I was up doing that, because at first I wasn't trying to like I wasn't trying to like really see if what it was, but then I was like, okay, this is really happening. Let me really track it. Yeah. So at 5 a.m., 5:55, I had ended up calling my mom, and I was like, 5:30-ish. I called my mom. I was like, hey, mom, like I'm having back-to-back contractions. They're 10 to 12 minutes apart. Blah 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 blah. She was like, okay, well, just let me know what's happening in like an hour. I said, okay, cool beans. At that point in time, I decided to pick up my camera and record. And yeah, if you want to see that quick vlog, you can check out my personal channel, Crystal Says It All, which basically has the birth vlog on that channel with the clips. Okay, so at 5:55, I get up, I record a little clip or two of me realizing like this is real. I'm gonna have to be today, on the 19th, that Friday. And so from there, okay, we're 10 to 9 minutes apart. I'm thinking maybe, my water is going to break anytime soon. My mucus plug is going to basically come out anytime soon, because I was getting to that point, right? You're getting to that point. And so at this time, the doctor before my memory was swept, I'm like 1, maybe 2 at the most, but definitely like 1 centimeter dilated. By the time 1 o'clock came for my appointment, I was 5 centimeters dilated. Now, when I got up that morning, I'm like, okay, this is my last day to go to work. I'm not going to go to work anymore after this. And so I got up to basically do my last day of work, and I told my manager that I was going to basically work from home, because like I didn't want to be out, being that I, 1, knew my memory was swept, and 2, knowing that like I'm having active contractions. Like, who's going to do that? Not me. And so I actually decided to go get my nails done around 11 o'clock because my appointment was at 1. So I went to get my nails done around 11, and I got my nails done. Like, I got a whole full set. It's not these right here, but I will show you guys a recording, like a short recording, like you will see on the shorts of like my nails that I end up getting done, if you guys want to see the nail video. But yeah, So I ended up going to get my nails done just to go ahead and pass some time, which is my recommendation. If you decide that you're going to have a natural birth and you're going through contractions, I would highly recommend that you do something to get your mind off of it. If you stay active, it won't be as hard, and that's what I found out. So I kept myself active. I got up, went to get something to eat. I organized. I didn't go to the store, but I did get my nails done, which is a sitting process. I had to stand. I had to walk around. I did keep myself preoccupied, to keep my mind off of it, because I didn't want to get spooked, to be honest, and run to the hospital and then just be sitting there, you know. And so, okay, bomb. I will get my nails done. They came out very nice. I was in active labor. At that point in time, I call myself to be a little delusionally cute because I felt them coming on stronger. Like the pain started to feel worse, but it wasn't that bad. Like I was handling it straight. I was handling like a champ. So I'm like, okay, I can't be too far to the birth because I'm about to give birth, because this ain't that bad. Like I promise you, I'm like, okay, I got this. Like this is a breeze. Say what? Birthing Clarissa got this, right? Okay, cool. So, all right, after I get my nails done, I go to my appointment where my doctor tells me, I'm being blunt honest. My doctor tells me you are 5 centimeters dilated. I recommend you go to the hospital right now. And I'm like, well, I can't go to the hospital right now because I have to go get my son. My son was at school, last day of school. It wasn't last day of school, but my son was at school, probably got to school. And I'm like, I need to get something to eat. Like, I need to get her stuff. I need to get my baby bag, my hospital bag, technically. I need to get the hospital bag. I need to get my son. I need to make sure I eat. I need to make sure, like, going to the hospital really was in my mind. And also for my mom, my daughter was like, tell your daughter to go to the hospital. Mom was like, okay. Knowing damn well she wasn't going to tell me to do nothing because, I don't know, we warriors out here. So she was like, just get to the hospital as soon as you can. Don't wait it out. But if you feel okay, then you okay. You know your body. Okay, cool, mom. So, yeah. By the time I leave this appointment, I would say it's like 2:30. So I go get my son. By the time I get him, it's like 3:34. The place I want to get my food from didn't open until 4:30. So I'm like, okay, bam. I'll have a plan. I go get my kid. We'll go home, get the stuff, make sure he's changed so that when he goes to the hospital, he doesn't feel uncomfortable. He takes a shower, all that kind of stuff because he's coming from school. And then we go get something to eat. And then I go to the hospital and I'll give birth. Period. That's my brain. Y'all, it happened that way, but that sounded too seamless. Okay, so once I pull up, I promise you, so I left the doctor's office. Okay, as soon as I got into my car, I tell you no lie, it was like, oh. And it was on. Okay, and so I didn't take heed to that. Because it wasn't that bad, because I've experienced the feeling of giving birth or about to give birth. And so I was looking for that feeling, you know, for me to know, okay, I need to go to the hospital. But if you're feeling that feeling, that means it's too late. And I wasn't thinking that. So I wasn't feeling that feeling at the time, but it was getting to that point. And so I'm like, okay, I can handle this. I'm 5 centimeters. I'll make it to the hospital on time. So I go. Let me tell you what I end up doing. I go get my son. I go home. He takes a bath. He changes his clothes. I try to take a nap. Because my guy, he wasn't getting off of work until 4 p.m. And so I figured by the time he gets off and come home, then, we'll all be able to go at once in one car. There's no point of driving 2 cars. We'll all be able to go at once and go to the hospital, get the food, go to the hospital. 1, I didn't want them hungry. 2, I didn't want myself hungry. I wasn't getting anything too heavy. Let's talk about it. They don't want you to eat before delivery. Reason being is because when you're giving birth, you're going to push, like you have to go number 2. And they don't want feces, other things coming out of you while you're giving birth that can actually tamper with the baby. Now, sometimes if you have a certain blood type, it might it might mix with the babies and cause you to have bilirubin or some other kind of defensive blocking effect with the baby's blood and all that kind of stuff, which happens, but that's okay. But they definitely don't want feces or anything is coming out while the baby is being born. So with that being said, they say not to eat prior, or if you're in the hospital, you can't really eat anything besides what? Broth. Like broth. And the broth is not seasoned like that, baby. And I was not going down. So I went before I got to the hospital to go to this place called Storytime, which is a Thai restaurant that does like soup and ramen, like, you know, the real ramen. And so it still was broth, but it was tasty broth. And so I didn't even get the chance to eat it. Baby, let me tell you what happened. So I go home, he gets in his shower, and I tell you no lie, I start to lay down, and I just feel so like, oh, okay. You know, like, okay, let me just wait this out. His dad's gonna be here anytime soon. We can go, and I'm getting my food. And I was so going home getting my food. So I'm like, okay. He gets to the house. Like, I would say 5 minutes before he gets to the house, I had a contraction. A real contraction. Like yeah, you can give birth real soon kind of contraction. But I had thought to myself, like, okay, well, how far apart are they coming? They're not coming that fast. Like, it's not like it's coming like 2 minutes back to back. It's like a 5-minute break, 7-minute break. So before it was like 10 to 9, 12 to 10 minutes. Then it came to 10 to 9 minutes. And now at this point, it's like 7 to 5 minutes. And so I'm like, okay, I can still handle this. I can still handle it. Like, it's bad, but I know that this is about to stop in, like, you know, for a 5-minute break or a 7-minute break. Like, I'm good. So I'm doing this while I'm taking a little nap while I'm waiting for him to come home. But that last one before he actually like got home, I felt it. So when he got home, literally I like kind of shot up, and I'm like, okay, like, what do you need to get? And then he started to low-key panic, because he's like, what do you mean what I had to get? Like, what do you have to get? Because, like, you know, the food place is open now. Let's look at the food and let's go. Like, Brendan's already showered. Are you taking a shower? Are you going to take your clothes? And he kind of, I feel like, you know, when you're trying to put on like a poker face. So I feel like on the outside, in my mind, I felt like I looked normal. But I could tell by the way he reacted that I was not looking normal at all. Like, I felt like the pain was all on my face, because, baby, he started to move like lightning. And he was like, okay, let me grab this, and that is. Okay, let's get into the car. So, homeboy, my baby didn't even change. He was still in his work clothes when we went to the hospital, because he saw that I was like, let's go. And I asked him to shower, and I asked him to change. So I didn't want him to be there uncomfortable, which is another reason why I didn't go to the hospital when the doctor told me to go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I want to make sure all my family is with me and everybody's good. That's just like how I am, especially being a mom. I just want to make sure everybody's good, because I knew I was going to be in the hospital for a while, and I just wanted to make sure everything was okay and everything was in place before I even went. So my house was clean. My guy did do the little due diligence of getting a housekeeper, which was a blessing. And so we had a housekeeper clean our house prior, and like I just kind of kept it up for like the week after. And I had my baby bags. We were ready. Okay, we were ready. Don't get me wrong, we were grand and ready, but I was just stalling, I guess. And so yeah, he gets home, he sees I'm having like this massive contraction, because it's like as soon as I got up is when I really felt it. And at this point I didn't have my water didn't break at this point. And so we get into the car, and as soon as it's like when I sat down, it wasn't even in my bag. It was just in my JJ. It wasn't in my back. It wasn't in my it wasn't in my stomach. It was literally in my vagina. Okay, the pain was where it's supposed to have been. Like, it was contracting. And then when I had sat down is when I kind of felt like, you know, you kind of feel like your bottom needs to do what the bottom needs to do. And normally when they say, do you feel you have to poop, is when they tell you that you will need to push, it's like that. And so I wasn't feeling I needed to poop, but I was feeling that pressure, okay? And so I knew it was coming. And so I'm like, listen, we're making it to this restaurant because I need to get food. And I didn't want them being hungry. One, because my guy just got off work, that means he didn't eat. And my son also, so I didn't want them being hungry. All these things I'm thinking about. See, I'm thinking about everybody but myself. And I admit that I did that. And that's what I'm going to say is faulty. But as a mom, that's just how I am. I think about everybody but for myself. And so I should have went to the hospital. But I did not. So literally, we get to the place for me to get food, and I'm having a strong contractions. They're not coming 5 minutes, 7 minutes apart now. They're coming like 5 to 3 minutes apart now, 3 to 2 minutes apart, like back to back now. By the time I got to the hospital, we're back to back. Crazy. So I get into the car. And I'm feeling this strong contraction, this strong 3 minute apart, 3 to 2 minute apart contraction. And, well, I would say 5 to 3 minute contraction. And so he's driving and I'm having this contraction. I'm like, oh, and I'm like moaning and I'm like, in the moment, I'm in it. And let me teach you something that I want to make sure that I say. They say breathe. Breathing is amazing things, okay? But also, like I was doing this thing where, how can I explain it? If you're on the ball, when you do the ball, you're rolling your hips. You can't see me right now because I want to flash y'all the baby. But I'll show you another video, but you're rolling your hips. And so what I would do is I would roll my hip into the contraction, right? Kind of like how you're sitting on a ball. I was really like mentally, nobody couldn't tell me I didn't have a ball. I was on that ball. Even though it's in my car, I was on the ball. And so when I was having a contraction, I was rolling my hips into the contraction and it kind of relieved the pain and made it not feel as bad. Seriously. I recommend you guys try it. And so with that being said, I'm in the car and I'm feeling like I'm about to need to push. No lie. And my guy, we ended up getting the food, but before we got the food, he's looking at me and he's like, I'm not getting the food. I'm like, you're getting the food. You're getting the food. Like, why am I contracting? You're getting the food. Like, and he's like, no, you're about to give birth. And I'm like, you're going to get the food. I need my food. I'm hungry. I need the food. And so as we're going back and forth over this, having these contractions, they're so strong. And I felt like I needed to poop. And I'm like, oh no. You see that R's go up? I'm like, oh no, we're not. I said, oh no. I said, oh no. And he's like, what? Don't give birth in the car. Don't give birth in the car. I'm not going to give birth in the car. Like, I'm not going to give birth in the car. I just need for you to drive. And I need for you to drive slow. Like, I don't know. I'm like, can you please drive slow? Like, just drive slow. Because it's like every bump, every movement, it was like making the pain for me worse because I'm in the car. And like, oh goodness gracious. And so like I felt like at this point we were close to the hospital. After we got the food, we waited. I called ahead. So by the time we got there, the food was done. Bomb. So we weren't even there for like I said we were there for 2 minutes. Like literally was there for 2 minutes. The time we got there, I had a contraction. By the time we were leaving out and turning the corner to get out of the plaza where the food was, I was having another one. That's how fast we got in and out of that restaurant. I didn't go in. He went in. And so now we're down the road and the hospital's like maybe from now 7 minutes away. And so I'm having, at this point, the contractions, I had like 3, 4, 5 contractions before I even got to the hospital. And by the time I got to the hospital, it was coming back to back, like faster than 2 minutes. And so, yeah, like literally in the car, I'm holding kettles. Y'all said do the kettles, the thing, Kegels. I was the Kegel master, baby. I was holding my vagina together. I was holding, those muscles were strong. I'm like, I'm not having this baby in the car, but like, I really felt like I had to do number 2. And if you are pregnant and you feel like you have to do number 2, but you can't do number 2, it's labor time and you're past that 37 weeks. You could probably be before it's 37 weeks too. But if you feel like, let me tell you something. Every mother that has delivered a child knows the number 2 feeling that I'm referring to. It's not the same like number 2. It's like you gotta go number 2. Like you gotta take the biggest poop of your effing life. Like that's how it feels. And it's not in the stomach thing, it's just an overall body feel. And so yeah, I started feeling that like down there, and I'm like, oh no. But at the same time of me feeling this way, I'm trying to calm him down and like tell him like, no, like everything's okay. And he's like, you should have went to the hospital. I'm like, no, I couldn't go to the hospital. You wouldn't have made the birth. I needed my food. Yada 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 yada. and so we finally get there. Literally finally get there. And I mean like I'm in pain. We finally get there. And once I get there, like I'm pushed back like this, like my body is pushed back in the car, and I'm in the back seat, and so it's like I can't, like I didn't want to sit up because I knew if I sit up, that's me clenching and unclenching, you know, what I've been holding together the whole time that I've been in the car. And so to prevent from me not having to be in the car, you know, and so as soon as I get up and get into the wheelchair, I tell you, like I released, and the feeling of me have to go to number 2 and the contractions that I were having instantly shot up, right? So now I'm in the wheelchair. And he drives me into the attendant. The person who, I don't know what they call the people, I'm sorry, but they are very helpful. They push those wheelchairs for everybody. So that person came out and wheeled me into the hospital. And so because they were doing updates, the outpatient side was also the emergency patient side. And so when I walked in, they just saw me in this dress, thinking everything was cool, kind of collected, and I'm literally about to give birth downstairs. So I roll in, and when I roll in, literally I start to feel my water break. And so like, well, I feel my water about to break. I shouldn't say feel it break because it didn't break until I get upstairs. But when I rolled in, I felt like I was going to give birth to her downstairs in the section that you basically go to get basically intake to go upstairs. And I'm like, no, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Because when I walked in the door, because literally I was just there, like I was literally just there the day before, they thought I was coming in for a recap appointment. And so when I gave them information and I'm sitting there and I'm talking, like this is all like a 1 minute to maybe 30 second to 2 minute conversation, not even that long. Like I rolled in and they told me to give them my name, and they called upstairs called down, and at this point, boom, contraction. And I'm feeling it, and the guy was like, they said to just keep her for here right now. She doesn't need a room. And I freaked out. I freaked out. I was like, oh no, I didn't cry. Surprisingly, I did not cry, but the tears were there. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Like, I didn't want to be one of those stories that you hear, the girl gave birth, you know, in the intake, that I like, don't do this to me. Like, don't do this to me. Like, all right, like I made it here. If I was gonna go through that, I'm about to have to be in the car. Like, I made it here. Do not do that to me. And so in the 10 seconds of me saying, no, don't do this to me, the man that actually was willing me was like, no, she needs to go upstairs. Like, she's giving birth. Like, she needs to go upstairs. Like, this is nothing to play with. They're like, she needs to go upstairs. And so he calls and he's like, no, she's in active labor. And this is what pissed me off. The person who called, the security guard person who called upstairs, like security guard / nurse, I don't know what he was. I don't think really expressed the fact that I was really in labor. Like, he told him my information, he told him I was pregnant, he told him all that stuff, but it wasn't until the guy that was pushing me who talked to them was like, oh, okay, like, come on, she's coming. So he just started to will me there, because it was like apparently this happened before, and it was a discrepancy or whatever, and it was like a whole thing because I went there for an appointment, like I told y'all, and so they're thinking I'm in the system as one thing, and so whatever. The man just was like, you know what, F this, I'm going to will you up there and let them know that I'm coming up with you because I see you again. I said, thank you. Like, I'm like, thank you. I said, thank you so bad. Like, thank you, please, thank you. And like in between the me saying thank you, boom, another contraction. Now this time they were coming back to back. It was a little break, like a 30-second break, but they were coming back to back, man. They're coming back to back, and I'm like, whoa. So the whole time I'm having these contractions, I'm rolling up the stairs, and I get up to the stairs, and the man was very nice, he was very helpful, and he was trying to talk to me. I remember talking to him in the elevator, basically saying that, I'm about to give birth. He was just being so nice, and it was helping me get my mind off of it. But once we got into that room, he willed me into the room. They were trying to get the room prepared because it seemed that I was going to give birth. So trying to get the room prepared. And like, as soon as he willed me into the room, he left and said, good luck, congratulations, all kind of stuff. And the midwife that I knew and the nurses that I knew were in there. So thank you, Sue. Thank you, Mary. Thank you to everybody that was in there. And so, yeah, they were there. And so as soon as I sat up, baby, as soon as mind you, y'all, you thought I was joking, I was holding it together the whole time. The car, getting out of the car, the downstairs, getting up the elevator, I've been holding all of this together. As soon as I raised myself out of that wheelchair, my water breaks. And not only does my water break, baby girl basically starts to come out. And so at this point, in my mind, there was like in that fast second, in my mind, there was a moment that I should have been like, no, I'm gonna stay here. And I said to say this because they automatically try to make you put you on your back. Automatically, they will tell you to go on your back to give birth on the bed. And so you do have other options to give birth. You can give birth in the shower if they have one. You can give birth in the bathtub if they have one at the hospital. You can give birth standing, leaning on the ball, of course on your back. But like, you can give birth whatever way that you want to give birth. That's not really like the normal thing to do, is to give birth in other ways besides on your back. But honestly, when you're giving birth, listen to your body. And so, which can help you prevent from getting ripped, all kind of stuff. And so for me, once I stood up and I felt the baby start to come out, I honestly wish I would have just continued to kind of like stay in that position and just kind of leaned over the bed for support. But I was listening to, of course, everybody around me, because they didn't think that I was going to give birth that fast. No one thought. I didn't think I was going to give birth that fast. I knew it was coming, and delusionally cute, I'm trying to tell you. But I knew it was coming, I knew it was happening, but I didn't think like, okay, my water hasn't broke. My mind kept thinking my water hasn't broken, so I'm good to go. That's what my mind kept thinking. And because my first pregnancy, not my first ever pregnancy, my stillborn, my water broke, and then I delivered like, let's say maybe an hour or so afterwards. So I'm like, I got time. My water doesn't break. That's the whole time. That's what I was thinking the whole time when I was out and about going to get food. And child, honey, a lot of times people give birth without their water breaking. It breaks during the birthing process. Like, it happens. And so I want to make sure I tell y'all that just because your water doesn't break does not mean you can't give birth, can't deliver a baby. Listen, You've been warned. And so my water breaks. As soon as the water breaks, so does baby girl starts to come out. And because now they're telling me to get onto the bed, she is now starting to come out. I have to kind of like suck her back in a little bit, not intentionally me sucking her back in, but because I am, you want her? Come, you can have her. She's just using me as a pacifier. Burper. And so yeah, so now because I'm leaning over to get up, I had to lean over to get up. And so because I leaned, that was the perfect, I don't know what this is right here, but one of these 1-2s, that right there would be perfect for me to give birth. Shoot her right out. But you learn this, so maybe in the future if I have a third child, maybe instead of twins, I don't know, I will remember this and I will make sure I do these things. But I want to make sure I let y'all know, give birth in the position that your body wants to give birth. That's cat-cow pose. That's cat-cow pose. That's standing up. That's standing up. If that's hunched over, then that's hunched over. Not all. If your body does not want to be laid down, then don't give birth that way. And so my body, I felt like did not want to give birth in the orthodox lay down, put your legs straight up kind of position, because it just was past that time frame. So anyways, yeah, so I get up, like I said, my water breaks. As soon as I lift off that chair, my water instantly breaks. I feel a warm gush of water directly shoots out, and she starts to come out a little bit. So because I'm now leaning over, I could have probably pushed my next contraction and probably had her like one right then and there, but instead they're telling me to get in the bed. Get on the bed, get on the bed, get on the bed. Everybody's in chaos. Oh no, get a room. Oh no, oh my gosh. So lay down, please lay down. And they're not yelling, but like you can hear the panic in their voice, like lay down, you gotta lay down, you gotta go ahead and get here, get this ready over here, telling this nurse to get this ready, and so now I'm trying to lay down. I'm like, I can't. Like they're telling me I can't. They're telling me to put my leg up to lay into bed because I got to get into the bed, but the bed is high. It's not like it's low, it's high. And then the time it takes them for like lower the bed, they're like just get into the bed. Like it was so much happening so fast that the preparation for everything wasn't there, because the 0.1 second of me getting into that room was a 0.1 second of my water breaking, okay? So, like, because I had to get into the bed and lay down, when I tell y'all she was basically coming out a little bit, let's find a hole. So this is a hole. This is her head peeping. Head out, head peeping. We ain't saying the whole body there, but let's say head out. So because I'm getting out of the bed, right? Now she's coming back. She had to come back in because, like, she's coming out, but, like, you like a turd. Yeah, kind of situation. And so, yeah, she had to go. She kind of went back in a little bit when I laid down, which hurt because now you have the motion of a baby coming in and out of your vajayjay. And so, okay, bomb. So we lay down. Now I'm laid down, and now they're asking me to push and listen to your body. I'm like, no, I can't push. Honestly, first off, let's start here. As soon as I lay down, they're like, push. I'm like, no way. Like, literally, all jokes aside, I had to take a second. I had to take a real second and get my bearings because, baby, it was so fast. So I'm like, push. You want me to push? Like, right now, I need to push. And they're like, you need to push. I'm like, I can't push. Like, wait, give me a second. Give me a moment because, like, literally, they're like, you can't have a moment. Like, I'm like, I need a moment. And literally, I said this for a good 30 seconds. I'm like this. Like, I literally sat back in bed and, like, looked at it and was like, okay, like, this is happening. I'm like, wait, hold on. Can I get something I'm like, I can't. Like, I will not, I can't. And so then I'm thinking, next attraction, push. I'm like, okay, next attraction, I want to push. So next attraction comes, I push. Okay, baby girl, the head part that started to come out a little bit, came out a little bit more, but it wasn't all the way out. Like, baby girl, the head. So when I say baby started to come out, it was like started to come out, it was like all the way out. It was all the way out. But I felt it starting to come out when I got up and come back in, and then when I laid down, I had to get it all the way out, okay? Which was a process. And so when I laid down and I finally got together to push, I tried to push, and I felt her start to come out a little bit, like more than what it was when I first sat down. And so at that point in time, make sure you wash it off, please. At that point in time, they're looking at me like, you need to push more, you gotta push again. I'm like, okay, I have to do this. And I'm like sitting there trying to do it, and she's like, put your legs up, put your legs up. I could not even get my legs up. First of all, the nurse is like, put your legs up, put your legs up. I'm like, put my legs up where? Where am I putting my legs up? Where? You want me to put my legs up? Where? Like where? You don't have the stirrups there. There's no stirrups. Where am I putting my legs? Are y'all holding my legs? I'm like, hold my legs for me then. And they're like, you can't put them on there. I can't put my legs up. Like, I can't. Like, what are y'all talking about? I can't do it right now. And so one of the nurses overtakes my legs and kind of helped raise them up a little bit. So now I'm finding the strength to kind of pull my legs back. And as I'm doing this, I catch a Charlie horse. How do we catch a Charlie horse? I caught a Charlie horse giving birth, y'all. Like, in the midst of me giving birth, I promise you I'm not picking my nose. I have a nose ring, so I'm fixing it. And so, in the midst of me giving birth, I catch a Charlie horse because she's telling me to put my legs up. Baby girl, I haven't stretched in months. Put my legs where? Honey. And so, I'm like, oh God. Like, no, this is too much. And so, at this moment, now I have a contraction, so now I'm trying to push. So I tried to push, and it was like her head was coming out, but I didn't do a big enough push. And so I pushed as hard as I can, and I felt her coming out. And finally, her head is out. And like, oh, her head is out. Her head is coming. I see the hair. I see the hair. Like, yay, I can't see it. I feel it. And but I know Sue was there. And the first thing Sue was and her name was not Sue. I think it was Kate. It's not Kate. Kim was there. Sue was there, and I think Patricia. But I'm saying these names because I want to make sure I thank you, because they genuinely got me through my life. Like, they genuinely, she was the nurse lead. The one I'm talking about was the nurse lead. I think it was Kim, and she got me through my birth. Like, literally, her face was right here, and me and her built a good bond and rapport prior to me giving birth. So I thank God that she was there, but she was in my face, and she was there. I needed her to be right there, and I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, and she's like, you have to do this, you can do it. And she was giving me all of her words of encouragement, and then I had the other one that also on my leg, also encouragement. It was just a whole bunch of blissful women out right now. Just thank God that I had that. I'll get into that. But let's continue. And so I'm now pushing, and I'm pushing like on my hands on it. I am pushing, and the first real big push, like I'm pushing, nothing really happened, and like I pushed so hard, and I just felt so hard that like, I couldn't push anymore past the contraction. And so after the contraction happened, I stopped, and they're like, okay, you got it. Like the baby's head is out, like the body out, go. So the next time contraction, I push again. This push, baby, this push that I did was the hardest push. Baby, I was screaming. I didn't realize I was screaming. That's how bad the push was. And so like I did not think, like I watched so many videos of women getting hurt that like they scream and get out of control, all that kind of stuff. And I did up until the time of push. Like my whole contraction situation was perfect. But that push situation, I gotta get a handle on because baby, and I do personally that if I would have went to the hospital sooner or if I would have just given myself a to be honest, the push for me, the pushes wouldn't have been that bad because I had got to the point where now like we got to do this thing. It was a rough process because we had to get her out. Like we're here, like she's ready. The water was broken, we get her out. And so I'm pushing so hard. I'm pushing so hard. I'm like yeah, it was like that. And she finally came. Okay, and here's a clip.
It's 17 all its nutrients. It helped baby grow.
Oh my god.
I think my mommy feels it.
Oh my god.
I think she's just recovering. Better, but there's cement here that still hasn't come out. That's what gave baby all the nutrients. What gave baby is 17.
So, I did rip, as I mentioned before, but I personally believe the rip that I got was from me getting up and her coming back in. Now, I will tell you this. I ripped in more than one place, right? So, let me tell you this way. My first pregnancy and birthing story, my doctor, Dr. Klein, was truly amazing. He was amazing. He did this thing where he literally held my vagina down there and he twisted her and twisted him and maneuvered him and kind of moved everything away to make sure that I would not rip it. He basically held everything together to prevent me from it. Like low key, that's what he was doing. He was feeling it. And so with this pregnancy and this delivery, I was literally in the midst of me screaming and talking to Sue and talking to him. I'm like, please, somebody hold my vagina. Like, dead serious, hold my vagina. Like, why y'all looking at me crazy? I'm like, hold my vagina. I should have mentioned that, like, hold my vagina. Hold my vagina. And they call it hold the pedic, something with a P. It's like the little area down between your butt and your JJ. There's a name for it. I think it's called a P because I had my after my post-op appointment, post-delivery appointment here at home, and the nurse came and she basically knew what I was talking about and she gave me the proper terminology to use. But at that point, I was like, hold my vagina, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I didn't hold my vagina, but y'all know what I'm talking about. If possible, ask the nurse or the doctor to hold that area down there, and it will keep the control and keep it together from ripping and stuff like that. Also, you can use lavender oil to help the slip down there, or castor oil or canola oil. They use all this kind of stuff that will be nice and slippery down there to help catch the baby. Did I do any oil? My mother told me, yes. Did I do this kind of weird? Yes. If I didn't do it, should I have done it? Yes. I ever have done baby, everything is going down there. Inside, you don't want to do the inside, you're doing the outside, the outer rim, just to make that area slippery. But anyways, due to that and due to the way that the birthing process happened, again, like literally, I felt, now I'm thinking about it, I did feel where I ripped the second time for sure. The first one was just like a little itchy, whatever. That second one, I felt that, and that was with the shoulder. I know because making me have to get stitches. I got a bunch of stitches. You don't really need to even count how many stitches. So I got 2, 3, 4. I got more than 2, 3, 4. I got stitches in multiple different places. And on top of that, when they numbed me, at first I was not trying to get stitched because I don't want to be stitched. I saw the needle and I was thinking about it, like, I don't want to get stitched. And I'm not on any meds, like real meds and whatever. And so I'm like, yeah, let's just wait an hour and let's see if it will heal up. And it didn't heal up. So at that point in time, she was like, yeah, we got to go ahead and get stitches. So I said, okay, no problem. Well, let's see. So I said, are you sure? She's like, yeah. I would hate for you to get it done and there's a problem, blah, blah, blah. And my son, yes, my son was actually in the room when I gave birth with his father. And he actually also got a cut in the big cord. Here's a video of that.
Which part do I cut?
You're gonna go right between these clamps. You wanna help? You wanna help cut? There you go. Alright, ready?
Just cut?
Yep.
Wow, good job, good job.
Now you just disconnect the baby. Now that you're
And yeah, and so with that, she's like, yeah, you need to go ahead and get a sewn. So we go do the whole numbing process. She pricks me with the needle. The needle is long. But the problem is some of the areas that she was pricking me didn't get some of the numbing lidocaine down there. And so I felt quite a few, not a whole bunch, but I felt quite a few of the stitches, like her pricking it through my skin, pulling it through my skin, and going back in again. I felt that a few times. So my JJ was not completely numb. So that was painful. I can honestly say that you see the movies and how they be doing like the sewing up real fast and stuff like that. I've experienced it. I know how it feels down there. Not pleasant. But I thank God for it because everything down there is nice and good now. You know, everything, it looks very pretty. Like, it's weird to say, but we're good to go down there. And so after that, so my son helped record. I didn't get the full recording in the labor room of my delivery, so I can only depict what happened during the labor. But I do have the videos of them cutting the umbilical cord and me delivering the placenta and her first cry and all those kind of important moments like that. And so I just kind of wanted to share with you this quick experience with you. Hopefully you gain something from it. If your doctor says go to the hospital, just go to the hospital. But like I said, I am glad I didn't go because I was able to do a completely natural, no epidural, and I made it through. I was good to go right after. Like, I was good to go, and then I ate my food. I didn't want to have to wait until dinner because I wasn't really sure when dinner was going to be, if dinner was going to still be available by the time I gave birth. By the time they take you from the birthing room to your actual room that you'll be staying in with the baby, dinner was gonna be closed for me, and dinner was basically closed. And so I was hungry. I'm like, no, that's why I made sure to bring food with me. I wasn't sure how the whole dinner situation was gonna go. I didn't want just a turkey sandwich and Lay's potato chip after giving birth like that. No, I wanted some real food. And so I had my food right after birth, you know, and I was very pleased. Like, everything worked out the way that I wanted it to be worked out. Now, what I will say, which I find to be funny, and eventually I'll get Brandon to come on my channel and we'll do a review on his experience with me giving birth, because I feel like it's very important to give both sides. The men in the birthing or labor is just as important, and their experience is just as important as yours, because you are giving baby life to the world. Now, yours a little bit more, let's be honest, but their experience and perspective is definitely needed as well, because there's a lot of men out there that don't know what to expect and would love to get another man's perspective. And so I will be convincing him. He's more of like a turtle, to come on here and basically give his opinion and go over this story a little bit quick again another time when he probably wants to come on. But yeah, y'all, when he told me when I got into the room, because basically he drove, of course he had to drive, and so when I was being wheeled, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. My son and him were not there when I was being wheeled into the room. So that's what I was gonna say. I wasn't. Listen. Oh my God. Do y'all hear this? Like I was saying, I told him that I'm gonna have you come on and give your perspective. But like I said, he wasn't there. So he had to go and park the car. He had to go park the car and then of course come up. And so when he parked the car, he found a parking spot pretty fast, because as soon as I got into the room, when my water broke, he wasn't in the room. He got into the room and saw me pushing. Like literally, I was sitting there trying to push the first time. My first push, when they were telling me I got to push, is when he came, because he heard me scream. He said, all I know is that you were screaming so loud. And I'm like, why didn't you record? I mean, you over there interluding. Why don't you just come in the video now? But okay, that's enough. But yeah, so he's holding the baby. But like, yeah, and I'm like, really? I was screaming. He's like, you were screaming so loud, like I knew it was you. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I say that to say we didn't hear all the recording, because you know, there's a lot going on in that moment. But I just found that to be so funny, because I didn't realize I was screaming so loud. And so getting a male's perspective would be great, I feel like, and so I will be doing that. If you enjoyed this this reminiscing video of my birth, I would appreciate it if you give me a like, a good thumbs up. A loving like. We're gonna call it a loving like. Please give me please go ahead and give me a loving like, because baby, the struggle was there, and I thank God that I made it through. I knew that I would, but it definitely happened a lot faster than I expected. I really thought that I was gonna have time to get into the room, settle it down, drink some of my broth, and then get it on and popping. Like mentally prepare for all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no. At 2 o'clock, 2:30, when my 2 o'clock, I would say 2 o'clock, 2:05, 2:30, my doctor said go to the hospital. If I would have went to the hospital, I would have had a chance to, like, you know, chill around a little bit and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't do that, and that's okay, because everything is for a reason. And so yeah, I gave you guys my story. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I will probably try to do another one later on that's a little quicker, because this is a full-on story. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys have made it to this end. I hope that you learned something, gained something, and you continue to be a part of this channel and our journey here on this channel. If you are new, I love y'all already, and I thank you for your support. If you have any questions or concerns, I would love to help y'all. Like, please leave them in the comment section down below. I will do a video on them if it actually is video worthy. If not, I would just respond to you via the comments, of course. So I would love to see you guys chat it up in there and give me your opinions on the story, or any questions, concerns, advice, upliftment, even for the future. I would love to see you guys come back and return. And with that being said, I will see you guys on my next video. Yes, guys, there's a whole lot of that happened, and yeah, like, the story continues to go on. And so now I have beautiful baby K here, and so you'll be seeing her popping out on this channel. And yeah, it is what it is. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, love, and blessings to you all, and yeah, later. And that is it. Say bye. Look, Kai. Kai. Say bye. Bye, guys. We see you guys later on the next one. Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a good night. Y'all don't see her laugh. Oh, you do. Have a good night. Have a good night. All right.